Welcome to episode 30 of Swords Against Madness. Just as in episodes 10 and 20, I want to take some time to reflect on what has happened in the last 9 episodes, give you a quick summary. Hopefully it will provide a guide for new listeners to let them catch up quickly. And for my regular listeners, it will give them an opportunity to remember everything that has happened, and help keep the plot a little fresher in our heads. This episode is not going to add anything new to the story. It's just there to help us keep track of what's happened so far. It's time to sit back, relax, mend the holes in your chainmail bikini, or stitch up your leather kirtle, and chill to some weird vibes on the 8-track in the Wizard Van. In episode 21, Conspiracy, Miria and Edric recruit a new party to help them travel into the northern jungle in hopes of finding whatever planar conveyance can help get the All-Knowing home. Among the preparations they make, the All-Knowing uses his powers to amplify the intelligence of the Psy Squid Miria had trained to help her plumb the depths of her ruined ship. Given a childlike intelligence, the squid offers to help them navigate the astral plane once they find whatever this mysterious conveyance is that will take them off of the material one. But with a pile of dead already behind Miria, a lot of people aren't necessarily keen on going on another expedition with her. Eventually, Burl and Raxon step up, a couple of men of the village of Nar who want to get their hands on magic weapons, so that they will be armed to protect their kin from any further Gorum invasions. They also attract Kale, a foreign half-elf recently arrived on Nar on a merchant ship. Kale is a cheerful thrill-seeker who's happy to get his hands on a magic weapon in return for seeing some of the jungle of Nar, and maybe getting to see some powerful magic up close. The party includes a ringer, however, Halu, the Master's cat's paw. Halu has orders to murder Miria and steal their magic weapons. Thankfully, before they set out, the All-Knowing, with its ability to read minds, probes each member of the new recruits and sees what Halu is up to, hoping to catch Halu in the act of betrayal, and then interrogate him for information on the Master. Miria begins carefully conspiring with the other members of the party to be ready for him when he makes his move. Their minds, however, are forced to quickly turn to more pressing survival matters when the party stumbles into a glade that is populated by phase spiders, gigantic talking spiders who are capable of shifting between dimensions, making them appear and disappear, causing weapons to pass through them. Creatures that are always hungry and cruel. In episode 22, Spiders and Flies, the party barely evades detection by the phase spiders and carefully creeps some distance away before resuming their hike, which is good because that easily would have been a TPK. Once they are clear of the monsters, they set up camp and begin carefully watching Halu for signs of betrayal. And when Miria cannot stay awake any longer, just as she's nodding off, the All-Knowing finally detects Halu's intention to move and warns the party through telepathy.
Wake up. He's coming.
In episode 23, The Surgeon's Tale, the party springs the trap. Halu is wrestled to the ground by Burl, who bulldozes him with a series of heavy blows and grapples. Once he is caught and bound, the All-Knowing prepares to rend the truth from his mind. But after that, we take a brief detour into Edric's past. We learn about a plague that had swept through Nar earlier, wiping out an entire village on the south shore of the island. How a surgeon named Hadron had tried everything to save the lives of the villagers, and then cursed both himself and the gods for his failure. Racked with guilt, Hadron had briefly adopted Edric and taken him into his care. Even after he was able to foster Edric with the Order of Stars, Edric occasionally came back to Hadron to learn his arts of surgery and alchemy, and how Hadron had convinced Edric to help him steal lore from the Order of the Stars. In the final moment of Edric's relationship with Hadron, he had helped Hadron get his hands on books on alien technology from the Order, and used it to break into an old Trossi facility, one designed for the implantation of black market cybernetics. Hadron believed this strange, mystical object could take away the flaws that had made him an ineffective surgeon, that it could perfect his mind and his hands, give him perfect knowledge of the workings of the body. He was, in fact, unwittingly attempting to gather all the knowledge of the Carver from the ancient machines. The last that Edric had seen of him as a boy was Hadron stepping into a machine that began to take him apart and put him back together again. In episode 24, The Pirate's Tale, we learn a bit about Halu's history. Halu had been a pirate and a slaver who had used Nar as a secret port of call. But a combination of alcohol and fever delirium had finally pushed his aggressive tendencies too far, and he had murdered a fellow crewmate. He was forced to hide in the jungle, dying as he watched his ship sail away, hoping to find shelter in the ruins of the South Nar village. Halu quickly ran afoul of a carrion crawler that called the ruins its home, and was chased down into a basement. While he escaped the carrion crawler, he fell into a much more dangerous situation. He had stumbled upon one of the hidden laboratories of Hadron, now a madman, modified and filled with the Carver's knowledge and mania. Hadron saved Halu's life by implanting a genetically engineered parasite into his guts, forcing Halu's absolute obedience. It was at that point that the faithless surgeon discarded his old name of Hadron and began calling himself the Master. This is only one of a handful of memories Miria rips from Halu's mind as she interrogates him psychically with the help of the All-Knowing. But when it's all over, Miria's left with a dilemma. What do they do with Halu? Eventually, Miria turns to trickery, using skills she had learned in the courts of her homeworld. She pretended she was going to murder Halu, and in the process dragged Raxon into an unwitting game of good cop, bad cop. She got the result she wanted. At the end of it, Halu was happy to take his life and run for it, although the tension between Miria and Raxon remained high. In episode 25, The Devouring Wilderness, the party returns to their journey, now without Halu, although many of them are waiting for a knife in the back. While they are traveling, they have a fateful encounter with vine holders, slithering creatures made out of knotted, strangling vines, that I borrowed from the beloved Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG module, Sailors on the Starless Sea. The battle is tense and uses up a surprising amount of resources, and in the end, Burl is strangled to death before they can save him from the grips of one of the vine horrors. In episode 26, The Nilkin, the party continues their voyage until they run across a group of halflings who have accidentally angered a Kuji bird, a large dodo-like creature that grows feathers and beak and claws of pure gold. The bird uses its claws and beak to incredible effect, and they witness it kill a couple of halflings before the party can intervene. Having saved the lives of gatherers who had been trying to get the feathers for blood money to pay off pirate slavers, the party are hailed as heroes and invited to come visit the halflings in their village. It takes some time because of a language gap to communicate what they're looking for. But in time, the party is assured that the halflings can help them find the vessel that they seek. However, they have a taboo against too much direct communication with outsiders, and so the party finds themselves talking not to a halfling representative, but rather to Burl, reanimated by strange druidic magic into some kind of plant zombie. Through Burl, they communicate to the party that they are willing to allow them to break taboo and go seek out this object. They'll even provide a guide, but only if the party are willing to help them with a dire task. Their sacred garden, where their holy tree, magical crucible, and vital herbs they use in their magic and their religion are being devoured by gigantic caterpillars, and the halflings need someone big and strong to drive them off. The party reluctantly agrees to these terms. In episode 27, Silkworm, the party is escorted to the soul garden of the Nilkin, the sacred magical gardens of the local halflings. There they faced what was potentially the most deadly encounter I'd ever rolled in this campaign. 4 ravening caterpillars, gigantic regenerating caterpillars with poisonous spines all over their body that were ravaging the garden. And as if that encounter wasn't strange enough, it got weirder. Thanks to rolls on the Mythic Game Master emulator, I determined that one of the caterpillars had been eating too many sacred hallucinogens. The caterpillar had opened its mind and become possessed by one of the Loa that the Nilkin worshipped. The new hybrid creature, the dread silkworm, was intelligent, capable of casting spells like a druid, and unbelievably powerful. The only positive about that transformation was that the creature chose to eat one of its own kind first before turning on the party and demanding they surrender the all-knowing to be devoured. The battle that ensued was brutal, long, and desperate as the party found themselves fighting a spell-casting foe, perfectly capable of outthinking them, and that regenerated from half the wounds it received. One of the only things that managed to save the party was Edric thinking fast and using a light spell to blind the creature, although even that lasted only a couple of rounds. Molotov cocktails coming from the last of their lamp oil, combined with laser fire, was the only thing that managed to bring the creature down. And then only with the help of one of the other ravening caterpillars, who chose to turn on its possessed brother and tear chunks out of it for eating, rather than immediately attack the party. In episode 28, the party continues their battle. The dread silkworm might have been defeated, but the ravening caterpillars were still coming, and thanks to the fickle dice, Raxon lost his life during the battle. As Edric, Miria, and Kale mourned their losses and recuperated in the village, Miria and the All-Knowing share a moment communicating with each other in psychic communion. The All-Knowing for the first time shows true gratitude and appreciation for Miria, and in return, Miria offers a metaphorical hand of friendship to the All-Knowing. In episode 29, the party finally reaches their destination, and what they discover is not some magical portal, not even an ancient starship, but a 1974 Ford Econoline van that had been tricked out by one of the village's folk heroes, Tom Foreman, a young man from Earth transported to Nar, who learned magic and eventually had become one of the greatest adventuring heroes Orbis had ever known. With the aid of the strange psychic powers of the uplifted Psy Squid that they had carried all the way from Nar Village in an oilskin sack, the party were able to free the van and activate its magic, turning it into a flying conveyance and then opening a portal to the astral plane, and onward to adventures across the multiverse to get the All-Knowing to his home. Well, I think that about covers it in any case. The past 10 episodes have been unbelievably fun for me. Some of the weirdest, most entertaining adventures I've ever had in D&D have unfolded in front of me during this solo game. And I've truly let my freak flag fly throughout, with magical wizard vans, psychic talking squid, and mad god-possessed caterpillars. And my friends, I promise you, it only gets weirder from here. Along the way, I've also made a choice not to use AI music in my podcast anymore, which has led to a big change in the general aesthetics, but one I hope my audience is enjoying. And I've also made some truly incredible friends through the Solo Roleplayers Network, which is teeming with some of the most amazing creators I've had the good fortune to get to know. Thank you for joining me for this last 30 episodes of Nerdy Fun, and I hope you'll stick with me for another 30, maybe more. Swords Against Madness is played, written, and performed by Brian C. Rideout. Editing, mastering, and audio production were from Stormhead Productions. All sound effects are licensed from Pixabay. This episode featured the incredible voice talents of John Cohen as the All-Knowing. John runs the amazing solo fantasy role-playing podcast Tale of the Manticore. This episode features the song King Edward by Mr. Smith and Revelation by Solar Flare, both Creative Commons by Attribution tracks made available through the Free Music Archive, as well as Acid Core by Jumping Bunny from Pixabay. As always, I love to hear from my audience. Please feel free to get in touch. I'm on X at SwordsVMadness, and you can reach me by email at swordsvmadness@stormheadproductions.ca. Until next time, roll high, play hard, and think weird.